Guru Narasimhan. This was this very tiny little old man. This is so funny. Get a log and have some fun, or take the day to explore the island. I'm creating my own rules here. It's like the world is well. All is well. I hope that you're staying and listening to this now. I put my light out at 10 p.m. I didn't sleep until 1. I listened to the binaural beats and I could not sleep until 1. So my alarm went off at 5. I automatically just snoozed. It's now 6:28. Oh, hello. Okay. Here. This is definitely like the challenge for me, hopefully tonight. I'm going to get to sleep earlier. My goodness. Anyway, I'm going to get up now and just start the morning. Hello there. Hello there. So tired. I'm gonna wake up. Get the day going. Oh my gosh. Should have made this last night. Oh, focus here. I'm just putting together a document. It says the 5-day 5 a.m. challenge, and I'm writing down the 2020 formula: move, reflect, grow, and then I'm going to write down some other things that I'd like to get done for business. I'm going to have my page here which I'll write my gratitude or any affirmations, any brainstorm ideas, and then at the end, reflections. This just helps me to also, I usually always used to do this for business, like plan my business day. So I'm just kind of evolving from that. So good. I just did 20 minutes, 21 seconds of the transcendental meditation. I love the TM practice. It is a practice because you have to sit there. It's no guidance. Just for 20 minutes, I repeat the mantra. And coming out of the meditation, it's like, it's so peaceful and quiet in the morning. And my energy is so aligned and grounded. I'm definitely also tired, but I feel really, really good. I will do my second session this evening, but this I feel is going to be a very powerful practice in my life again. I generally practice a meditation every day. Usually I do like guided meditations or like a visualization. Okay, just for the cats, I'm going to do, because before I did my gratitude, just planned my day. I wrote out my 5 a.m. 5-day challenge document. Because it's move, grow, reflect, I already did visualization by looking at my Pinterest board for my 2024 manifestations, and then I am going to move my body into a practice. It's not going to be an intense practice. I haven't even looked yet at the waves. I think the waves are small. It's like cloudy outside right now. And then after I will shower and get a coffee, and then I'm going to get into content creation. I feel so good. The meditation practice and the morning time. It's the most beautiful time of the day. The energy in the morning, even though there's like gray clouds, it's such a beautiful morning. Wax, 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 wax. Come, come on, come on, come on. Wax. Okay, so good. I just finished my yoga practice. Felt very balanced this morning. a little bit like stiff, but definitely like balanced. I'll have to share with you my minimalist yoga practice. Even though I say minimalist yoga practice, I actually still do like a few advanced postures. Like every day when I do my practice, I will do handstands. Yes, I have only had, as you would know, 4.5 years experience of surfing, but I have 2 decades of practicing yoga. So my yoga practice is actually very advanced. I don't practice like I used to. 2018 and 2019 was the peak of my yoga practice when I was my most strong, and I was practicing like 3.5 hours every day. However, it's changed since then, and now I surf. Anyway, I'm going to get into the rest of my day. I just picked up again The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and I just read for 20 minutes, and my takeaways are from the chapter, and I highlighted it down. It said so much consumer spending, particularly in developed countries, is socially driven, subtly influenced by people you admire, and done because you subtly want people to admire you. And then I highlighted another section, and it was about how people are investing and spending their money and consuming their money. One of my takeaways that I wrote down was, what game are you playing? Because it's interesting that in today's day and age that we are so heavily influenced, or can be heavily influenced, by social media and public figures and people on the internet. I think it's really important to figure out which game are you playing. Like if you're a lawyer on a certain salary, you would be spending your money in a certain way, meeting the expectations of maybe what your career is and how much you earn. But of course that's going to be very different if you are a girl just finishing school in Bangladesh. However, because our consumer spending is influenced and socially driven, and that's particularly in developing countries, it can be difficult then to be influenced about what you should spend your money on. It's kind of interesting thinking about then wherever you are in the world and whatever career you have and what kind of job you have and what your lifestyle is and your lifestyle choices. I think it's key, like my takeaway here is, are you aware of what your values are, and are you living in alignment with those values? This is so funny. The forecast for Uluwatu says today, small low energy swell under light morning winds that will turn to the southeast in the late morning. Get a log and have some fun, or take the day to explore the island. That's hilarious. This is what the forecast is. Tomorrow is even smaller. I may be taking tomorrow off as well, and then it looks like the 31st there should be some more waves. Yeah, I may not be surfing for 4 days in a row. Today will be the 3rd day I haven't surfed. My coffee spilled everywhere on the bike. I just went and got my breakfast. A coffee. I am going to make my breakfast. I said that I was not going to have chocolate, but because I still have vegan Nutella, I am going to put that in my breakfast. I also got some more almond butter. This is actually already packaged, but I feel like I just want to put that at the top because it's not like eating like an extra vegan chocolate or dessert. This is like part of my breakfast. I'm creating my own rules here. Okay, so what I always am doing, I'm putting walnuts, hemp seeds, oats, almond butter. I'm gonna top it with this, vegan Nutella. May eat some rice cakes as well. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, no comment about the situation back there with my plants. That will be another story for another day. Okay, so I've got my breakfast here. I actually feel so good. Okay, even though I didn't wake up at 5 a.m., I still definitely feel so good for waking up and starting my morning with the 20-20-20 formula. I did 20 minutes of reading, I did 20 minutes of yoga, or however, maybe it was like 18 minutes. I did a 20-minute transcendental meditation practice. I also looked at my Pinterest board for my manifestations this year, and I also wrote a gratitude. For sure, starting the morning off like that, it like definitely sets the tone for the rest of the day. 1000%. I definitely feel that. The practice now for this afternoon is to get myself to sleep so that I can wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. However, definitely I'm feeling really good. Got a delicious breakfast here. Yes, for me, today the practice is not to eat any sweets. I will also have some spirulina. I also wish to make like an order for some superfoods. I'd like to get like some green spirulina, there's this supplement that a friend of mine just recently introduced me to. It's called Amitoba, and I believe that it's actually from hemp seeds. When I was in Australia, I bought this bag of hemp seeds, Australian hemp seeds, and I still have that. It's a really large bag. It is 800 grams. Hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, they're all really good protein, obviously, especially for a vegan. As a vegan, yes, I do. I have a B12 spray that I take. That is the supplement that you definitely should, as a vegan, take. Basically, if you are eating properly, you don't need to supplement, of course. If you want to take other supplements and they're natural, like I think that's totally fine. It can't do any harm. However, yeah, I'm feeling really good. I need to hit the desk in 15 minutes and start to get into edit land. And that will be the non-glamorous part of being a YouTuber and creating content. If you are doing the post-production yourself, is editing, sitting at the computer, editing. That is not very glamorous. It takes a lot of hours. So yes, that's why I'm going to have my breakfast now and get into the workflow. Okay, just as I was eating my breakfast, I was watching a vlog by Jay Hawk. He is a tech and lifestyle YouTuber who I've been following for years, and he's at the Sony camp. So fun that they get to go to a camp for a week and learn about all of new Sony's products, obviously network with other influencers and other people in the industry. I just think that's so cool. I would love to get to the Sony camera camp one day. Anywho, I am doing the not so glamorous side of getting into editing. It is 10:37 and this is what we're going to be doing. Okay, it's really funny because I'm editing already and I'm talking about my Sony camera. So I actually have a Sony camera, the Sony a7C II with the 2.8 16 to 35 millimeter glass wide angle lens. It is amazing. However, I was just talking about then, which I can share as well, and maybe in the comments if you have any suggestions or tips. When I had a Canon R6 before with the 15 to 35, I actually was always filming with C-Log3. Now, since I've had my Sony, I have not successfully been able to figure out the settings to film in S-Log3. And I was having a conversation with somebody who's a photographer and videographer, and they were saying that I need to figure out the ISO. I have watched so many videos. I would actually need somebody to sit down with me and actually hold the camera with me and talk me through it, because I love the dynamic range that the Sony can film in, and then you can edit and do post-production with the editing, with the colors. It just looks so good. But do you think that I can figure it out? As you would know, I am not a professional photographer or videographer. I'm definitely an enthusiast. It's definitely been a passion of mine for years. I definitely love learning about different cameras and the settings, and for videography, photography, for even cinematography. It's definitely something that I'm passionate about, but because I have had my new camera and I haven't been filming as much this year, this camera, you're able to film in, I think they call it D-Log for this Osmo Pocket DJI 3. I think you can also, I'm just filming in auto because right now I'm just trying to mass produce and be on my 21-day challenge. And also the reason why I love this DJI Osmo Pocket 3, it's because it is like the smallest thing and you can take it absolutely everywhere. This is definitely smaller than my Canon. The Canon that I had before, the R6 with the 15-35, it was like
really heavy, really big. An amazing piece of equipment, and I created some amazing videos from that. Super crisp, super buttery smooth, like amazing content. Could make the colors look amazing as well. This is definitely smaller, but this is definitely smaller. I just need to get a good handheld tripod to take that one with. Anywho, I am curious, if you are watching, what do you like to film your content on? Do you use your iPhone? Are you using a more professional, like a mirrorless camera? Are you using DSLR? Do you just have a point and shoot? I'm curious, because I think what they also say, and this is, you know, for people who are getting into creating content, if you're more new, basically like using your phone is the best place to start. And that's definitely how I started. I got my first mirrorless camera in 2018, and then I switched over to the Canon R6 I had for a few years, and then just last year I sold my Canon R6 and I got the new, it was newly released last year, the Sony a7C II. The C meaning compact. It's definitely smaller. Like this, they kind of say is like almost pretty much the same as like a Sony a7 IV. The a7 III was really popular for a few years, and actually still is. I'm not even sure, do they have an a7 V? I'm not even sure. I'm really happy so far with the camera. However, I'm still learning. Same with surfing, like I'm still learning all the things. Share with me what you personally choose to shoot on, or what you would love to upgrade your kit to. I'm definitely impressed. Hello, Bikini. They're so sweet. Yes, I'm definitely impressed with the quality, the image quality, and the convenience, and like the durability, and how this DJI is made, manufactured, created, designed. However, the image quality coming out of the Sony is this Sony a7C. DJI usually does more like the drones. They do a whole bunch of things. The quality of the image with the Sony is like really next level. I just get shy, I guess, when I'm in public. Like lately I haven't been shy because this little thing is so small. I feel like it's just, you know, I'm walking around like with my phone, but this is so small, whereas I definitely would feel, I get a little bit more conscious. I am quite used to now like talking to my camera or talking to my phone when I'm in public, because you know I've been creating content now for a few years. Yeah, it's just a little bit more clunky when you have like a bigger setup. I guess that's just a silly mindset that I need to like let go of, because really at the end of the day, I know what I appreciate when I am consuming content. I love really good audio, and I always love and appreciate sharp, clear image. And as well, now after having the gimbal is already attached to this DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I definitely am going to invest in a gimbal for my Sony camera, because that's something that I've been, and I think I've said this in another video somewhere, about I get like when I'm consuming other people's content, or even if I'm just watching mine or editing mine, and it's like wobbly and shaky, I almost feel like motion sickness, like seasickness from like wobbly content. I really appreciate a gimbal for the smooth transitions. I also want to learn, and you can do it on this DJI Pocket 3, but also obviously with gimbals, you can do really fun transitions and different cuts and the different transitions from one clip to another using the gimbal, because it can do, you know, crazy different things. These are all the things that really I get really geeky learning about, really not only like showing, because there's so many sides, right, to content creation, as we know. There's like, okay, you're filming, but then there's also like making your filming really artistic or cinematic. Then it's like the way that you color grade it. And then of course, they say at the beginning as well, it's like the art of storytelling. Like it doesn't matter how good your equipment is or how sharp the image is. Like if whatever you're talking about is really boring, nobody's going to stay and listen. So I hope that you're staying and listening to this now. Okay, the not so glamorous part of working, sitting just at my computer editing. I am going to go get a matcha, take a break. Okay, super exciting. I am here in Nourish in Bugasan. This is actually last year I used to go to, and I wasn't busy at all, and it is like busy bustling now.
a green matcha. It's like the biggest matcha I've like ever seen. I just went before and made a payment at Indomart for Tokopedia. I am getting everything organized to set up my Sony camera to use as the webcam when I am recording content with Riverside for my, whether it's talking head videos or for my video podcast. So I ordered this. It is a capture record card. It helps to connect properly your mirrorless camera to use as the webcam with your laptop, and it uses like an HDMI cable, and then that will connect into my laptop, and then of course my roadcaster and microphone is connecting to my laptop. Hopefully I have amazing visuals as well as audio. I'm just working now on planning some episodes for the podcast, so I'm just writing out some notes. Okay, my eyes have been looking at screens for hours today. I need to take a break. Okay, the light is better here. I am a little bit tired. As you know, I didn't sleep well last night or didn't get enough sleep, and I would like to get into bed earlier this evening, which means I need to wind down earlier. I'm just about to order some Gojek food, and then I'm going to go inside while I wait for the food and share with you around transcendental meditation. This is one of the key areas that I am focusing on for the next 5 days. I will do my second TM session this evening, part of my evening routine. However, I'm going to order some food. I'm like stuck in the tree. Okay, I also, just before, I have now written out and planned my first podcast episode. So I actually have 12 titles for episodes. Already 12 titles. I actually also have like a bunch of others, but I need to obviously plan out. However, I really wanted to have like a podcast episode each week for 3 months. So I've got 12 to start off with, definite episodes that I want to share all around. I have planned out now the first episode. There's the intro, there's a closing, and then there's 3 different sections. So that's really exciting. I'm going to, as of this stage, like have the podcast with, like I've got like the outline, not like a script, but like an outline with bullet points. And then obviously as I'm speaking to the camera and speaking into the microphone, I'll have the bullet points there on like my laptop, but I'll be, just obviously using that as a guide with what I wish to share. So that's very exciting. Of course, I can always refine, add, or take away some things. However, I really do have the bulk of the first podcast episode, and I just kind of started the second episode. So good also. I'm gonna now sit down in my office and share with you about transcendental meditation. Or I could actually do it here because the lighting is quite nice here. Okay, wonderful. I hope that you can hear me. I am with my tiny little fancy DJI wireless microphone. I wanted to share with you about my experience with transcendental meditation, and also, like I mentioned just before, that this is one of the key areas that I will focus on for the next, hopefully not only for the next 5 days, but obviously moving forward as well. Okay, so sometimes you may, and also I'm going to be referring to some notes here, sometimes you may hear about transcendental meditation being referred to as TM. Transcendental meditation is probably one of the more simple but very effective meditation practices, and this is probably one of the more easy to follow, but it is a practice, of course, meditation practices. Basically, it is doing 2 20-minute sessions per day that can be
whichever time of the day. I generally will do this in the morning and the evening, and it's sitting with your eyes closed for 20 minutes with no music, no guided voice. It's literally just close your eyes and be in your meditative practice and that conscious state of being for 20 minutes. And it also involves repeating a mantra in your head. Just a little backstory of the origin of transcendental meditation. This was introduced to the West by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the 1950s, and it actually has its roots in the ancient Vedic tradition of India, but it's actually designed for anybody who decides to practice. There are many, many benefits, of course, to meditation, as you will likely know already. Of course, like the most common one, meditation can allow you to reduce stress, lower your blood pressure, and overall impact in a very positive way your mental health. And as we know, mental health is such a widespread issue today. What's really different, though, about the TM technique is that unlike maybe other different meditative practices, this one doesn't involve concentrating or just controlling your mind. It's more there as a practice to allow your mind to settle naturally into a state of restful alertness. Okay, there's like a basket behind me. To learn TM, you actually need to take a course from a certified transcendental meditation teacher. When you do take this course, you're actually given a personalized mantra that you say in your head, in your mind, as you do the practice. Now, I took my course in 2018 in Mysore in India. I had gone to live in India in 2018. I actually traveled there for a few months in 2018, but for 2 months I was actually living in Mysore, where I went to study the Ashtanga yoga practice. I went to go study at not with obviously Patabi Joyce, because he has passed now, not even his son. So I actually went to go study with Sharmila. I did some classes actually in the Joyce main school, like place where you practice, but I was practicing at a different place. Sharmila was one of the children of Patabi Joyce. But of course, like we practice Ashtanga yoga 6 days a week, and then, on our afternoons off, I actually then enrolled into this, I believe it was a 4-day course with Guru Narasimhan. And I'm gonna insert a picture here. This was this very tiny little old man that who sat a little bit above us in this very nondescript, nowhere place. You definitely couldn't have found this on the internet. It was word of mouth, because I went there also for philosophy sessions, and then he offered obviously the transcendental meditation course, and it was in this place, and you walked through this house. It was quite the experience. You wouldn't have found out this place if you didn't know about it. It was so nondescript, and he also sat there in his sari, in his sarong, and he always wore this sleeveless white tank top singlet. That's when I took the course. I was practicing for a while, but I really got consistent with my TM practice in 2020, when we were all experiencing the world shutting down, the COVID year, the pandemic year. Also, after completing your course, you are given this mantra. Now, you also are not allowed to tell anybody the mantra, and to this day, I still have never told anybody the mantra. Some of the benefits of the TM technique is definitely the stress reduction. It's definitely there to help regulate your nervous system and to really allow yourself to reduce the production of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. I think it's beautiful because TM, it can also help to enhance your creativity and your productivity, because it's really allowing your mind to come into a restful, peaceful state. I definitely have experienced my own benefits from the TM technique. I actually have had a physical yoga practice, the asana practice, for many, many years. I started practicing yoga in 2004, and I started teaching yoga in 2007. I wasn't really that consistent or dedicated with the meditation practice. And of course, throughout the years, I had always heard oh, meditation, it changes your life. But I had never really committed to the practice. In 2020, I had just come out of a breakup and the world was in this very uncertain time. And so that's when I actually had the time. We were all at home, if you remember. And I really dedicated twice a day to practicing the TM technique. And I definitely, and still to this day, now I'm obviously reigniting the practice. But even after this morning practicing it, it was like a complete game changer. I just felt, and even it's kind of interesting for me, I'm able to, and of course, like there are many fluctuations of our mind. And even this morning, my mind was kind of running all over the place. I was able to, in moments of my practice this morning, really allow myself to come into that restful alertness. And then obviously after I finished my practice, it just felt amazing. And that is the vibration that has definitely set the tone for my day. And inevitably, we are not only doing the meditation practice to feel good for the morning or set the tone for the day, but inevitably our meditation practice is definitely a driver for us to have that peace, have that harmony, have that aliveness, have that groundedness, have that presence in ultimately our entire life every day, right? That's the practice, yes, in being interconnected with ourselves. Definitely just more about obviously my own personal experience. I've done a lot of I've practiced a lot of different meditation techniques. TM is something that I always come back to. In 2020, more in the year, I discovered the Joe Dispenza meditations. Look, I definitely really do incorporate and have in the past the guided meditations. I love any of the meditations offered by Boho Beautiful. I love any meditations, obviously by Joe Dispenza. They're mainly the ones that I will listen to with the course that I'm enrolled with Kathleen Cameron. She has some beautiful visualization meditations that I listen to there. But definitely the TM practice is something that I always come back to. However, my meditation practice for the last few years has always just only been once a day, and that's usually in the mornings. I'm pretty excited to now experiment and hopefully carry this practice forward, continuing beyond and forward, doing the 20 minutes in the morning and the evening. And that's one of the areas that I'm focusing on is sleep. And in order to have good sleep, you need to be able to wind down at the end of the day. And then part of winding down at the end of the day is incorporating certain practices for an evening routine. And the TM practice will be a part of that, obviously. The meditation practice is something that can be done regardless of your age or what religious background you may have or whatever other beliefs, spiritual beliefs that you have. The TM practice, you can do this even if you've never practiced before. I definitely recommend that you take the course because if I can remember, it was such a funny experience taking the course. And it was interesting too because one of the things that I also remember that Guru Narasimhan had shared with us, because after we would finish doing a 20-minute session, then we would come out of the session and have a question and answer section. I remember it was somebody asking that they would fall asleep, and actually Narasimhan said that actually if you're laying down doing the TM practice, that it's actually okay to fall asleep because you're in such a relaxed state. So I thought that was really interesting because, like I said before, meditation isn't a way to control the mind or you have to be thinking a certain thing. Definitely you're repeating that mantra within. However, I believe that the TM practice allows you, and meditation practice allows you to be able to observe that there are thoughts and activity moving around up there. However, it's not judging or running away with those fluctuations, with those stories or wherever your mind goes, but just to observe and then to come back to the mantra and then just to be almost in that space in between. So the TM practice is definitely a secular practice, and it is for anybody, any age, any beliefs that you have. And I definitely encourage, if it's not the TM practice that you incorporate into your life, I definitely encourage a meditative practice of some type into your life. Okay, so that's really just what I wanted to share with you around the practice. Please, I definitely encourage for you to leave me a comment in the comment section if you practice meditation meditation, if you're familiar with TM. Definitely, again, I encourage you, if you haven't taken a course, look up in your area where there may be a course, because for sure, and you will hear me say this time and time again, that my spiritual practices, whether it is the asana practice, the yoga physical practice, and then of course the meditation practice, it greatly has impacted my life in a positive way. Okay, so my dinner is almost on the way. I am going to end the video here. Yeah, I still got quite a bit of editing to do this afternoon. Okay, just as a side note, as I was sitting down having my dinner, that definitely need some grace and compassion and patience when starting your TM or a meditation practice. When I started, it's a little bit warm in here. When I started, I remember the practice in 2020. I would sit down, the TM practice, I would sit down and I would put my phone with the timer. Actually, also another thing, two things. When you're doing your meditation practice, don't set your regular alarm like after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long you're going to be meditating for. Rather, just put like the stopwatch on, because the alarm can actually be really disruptive for your mind if you're in a state and then a big alarm comes on. I know there are other apps that you can use for meditation. I was recommended by Guru Narasimhan to not have the alarm and just to have the phone there with either no stopwatch going or just have the time there, because eventually you will develop your own inner clock, and that's definitely what happened to me. I could be in my sessions and I just intuitively knew that I got to 20 minutes and I would open my eyes and it would be 20 minutes. But that came after practice. When I did start in 2020, I would have the phone there and I would close my eyes and my mind was like exploding with thoughts. And sometimes it still is. Where I would sit there, this is in 2020, and then open my eyes and it had been 1 minute. And I thought, oh my gosh. And then the next day I sat for 2 minutes. And then the following day I sat for 3 minutes. Don't think at first you need to sit down and you think that you can straight away go into 20 minutes, no guidance, just silence, into a meditation practice. Because as it is said, it's a meditation practice. It's not meditation perfect. Of course, it's like a muscle. You need to definitely practice and you need to work at it in order to become better. I went through the benefits when you actually do allow yourself to practice daily, twice daily. Obviously TM is twice daily, or if you're just starting out for just a once a day practice, I definitely recommend that you sit for as long as you can and create that consistency every day, because over time it then just becomes something that you do. And I know for myself over the years, when I'm in a flow of days or months and I'm in a meditation practice and then life gets busy and then I stop, and I often talk about this and I'm not as consistent with my spiritual practices, I definitely feel the shift and the uneasefulness within my mind, within my thoughts, within maybe my stress levels, my vibration. And I always come back to my spiritual practices, and that always is with meditation practice as well, because it's that feeling, that vibration, that frequency, that state of being that I feel in the actual practice itself, or then after, that is peace. That is just wonderful. It's when I come out of the meditation practice, it's the world is well. All is well. There's that peace. There's that everything is exactly as it should be. Yeah, the meditation practice is life-changing. If you are feeling a little uneaseful, a little stressful, dissatisfied, a little discombobulated, you're just not feeling good, I definitely recommend you carve out time in your day for the meditation practice, and for sure I definitely recommend the TM practice as well. Okay, so I'm just going to insert that clip back into the video. I just finished my second TM session and I
was there for 22 minutes and 53 seconds. I actually started and had to stop at 3 minutes because Bikini was throwing stones out of the garden pot. So I put all the cats in the middle living room, and then I went back in, and then I came out at 22:53. That practice is so powerful. My energy is so peaceful and I feel so grounded, and my mind definitely wasn't running as wildly as it was this morning. I could definitely observe the fluctuations and like some different thoughts, but I always kept just coming back and just being in tune with my breath. And I feel like it's the only time now out of my day, because I usually only meditate for 5 or 10 minutes, but the 20-minute session, and now I've done that twice, it's the only time of my day that I notice that I'm not stimulated by the chaos of the outside world, and that when you close your eyes and you go within, and that I'm just obviously repeating this mantra, it is so powerful. There is a peace, there is this aliveness. I also had like feelings that I felt like the feeling that I was in was love. So I'm very grateful, and this is something that I definitely desire to continue to practice even after this 5-day challenge.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. I do hope that you found value and vibe and fun. Tomorrow I will be, of course, continuing on with my 21-day vlog challenge, as well as tomorrow will be the second day of the 5 a.m. 5-day challenge. Tomorrow I'm going to be sharing all around reading and sharing some of the books that are actually in my Kindle or some of the physical books that I have to read. Watch out for that video. And I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.